For 3 decades my family treated me like I simply didn't exist. You're a nobody. Then I casually mentioned my 8-figure real estate empire. The entire backyard went dead silent. Grab a seat if you've ever smiled through a family cookout while watching blatant favoritism get served hotter than the ribs. This one's going to hit hard. My name is Jake. I just turned 30, and for most of my life I was the ghost in my own house. You know the type. The kid who gets told, maybe next birthday, while his little sister, the chosen one, rips open another expensive gadget that'll be forgotten by next month. The one who learns to stretch a dollar until it screams while his sister treats dad's credit card like it's from a board game. The one who figures out how to cook boxed mac and cheese because nobody's ever around to make dinner. That was me. Quiet. Invisible. Disposable. To my parents, my sister Brenda, 3 years younger, was everything I could never be. Athletic, brilliant, charismatic, destined for greatness. The list never ended. She was the one stacking trophies, flying across state lines for travel team tournaments, spending entire summers at invitation-only camps coached by former pros. My parents didn't just cheer from the bleachers, they bankrolled the dream like venture capitalists. Me? I was the nerd glued to a computer screen who got warned to keep my head out of the clouds if I ever mentioned wanting to build something of my own. For the longest time I wasn't even angry. That's just how it was. That's the dangerous thing about favoritism. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just whispers. It's the shrug when you mention something you're excited about. The half-hearted, that's nice, while they scroll Instagram. The we'll talk later, that never happens. Here's the plot twist, though, I didn't turn bitter. I turned busy. While Brenda was on the field soaking up applause, I was teaching myself web design, fixing neighbors' virus-riddled PCs, studying search algorithms, writing code, flipping cheap domain names. I'd come home from my shift at the hardware store smelling like lumber and hear how Brenda had scored the winning goal or how some college scout was circling. Mom would beam. Dad would crack open a cold one in victory. I was supposed to tiptoe so I wouldn't disturb Brenda while she iced her ankles. Money followed the spotlight. They dropped nearly 25 grand on camera gear she used twice, an all-expenses-paid graduation trip cruising Europe with friends, a brand now watch that still sits in a drawer. Me? A generic birthday card with my name scrawled in blue ink and a $60 Amazon voucher. I still remember Mom's exact words when I opened it, "Well, Jake, you're so self-sufficient. We figured you'd rather pick out something yourself." College? Fully funded for Brenda, tuition, books, spending money, dorm upgrades. For me it was take massive loans or figure out another path. I chose the second option. Not out of ego, but because I already knew they wouldn't co-sign and I refused to drown in debt just to prove a point. I used those years instead to devour everything I could about property investing, online marketing, and the corners of the internet that actually pay. Within a couple of years I was running social media for realtors, small companies, high-producing agents. The real money, though, was in the brick and mortar. I started saving like a man possessed. No new clothes, no nights out, no trips. Every single paycheck. I drove a rust bucket Corolla with busted power windows and lived in a sketchy one-bedroom until the walls practically begged for mercy. At 26 I closed on my first duplex. By 28 I owned 6 more. At 30 my portfolio quietly crossed into the millions. All of it done in the dark. No victory laps. No posts. No bragging. My family had no clue. I saw zero reason to tell them. What would change? Sudden pride? Please. And then came the reunion. Ever get the feeling the universe is choreographing something? Moving the pieces across the board, dimming the lights, waiting for the curtain to rise? That's exactly how it felt walking onto my uncle's deck that sunny Saturday. Picture it, relatives buzzing around with red Solo cups of sangria, paper plates stacked with ribs and coleslaw. Mom was in the corner gushing about Brenda's girlfriend who, almost, landed an on-camera gig at a regional sports channel, practically spoon-feeding her deviled eggs. Brenda twirled her hair and soaked it in. I hovered near the back steps nursing a flat Coke, nodding along whenever someone remembered I existed. Nobody asked what I was up to. Not once. Then my cousin Emma, sweet, nosy Emma, wandered over and lit the fuse. "Hey Jake, weren't you on some real estate podcast? My friend sent me a clip, something about house hacking and cash-flowing rentals." Brenda's head snapped away from the cousin she was flashing her new watch at. Mom let out an awkward chuckle. "Jake? On a podcast? Must be another Jake. He's always tinkering with those little online hustles." I could have let it slide. Emma, bless her, did not. She whipped out her phone, scrolled, and held up the screen. A real estate account with 500,000 followers had reposted the episode. My face in the thumbnail. My name in bold. Brenda's eyebrows shot up. "Wait, that's actually you?" Head started turning. Conversation stalled. Dad squinted like he was seeing me for the first time. "Yeah," I said, "calm as you like. Been investing in property the last few years. Doing all right." Brenda scoffed. "Property? Like those house-flipping shows? What do you even know about that?" I just shrugged. "Enough to own 9 of them, I guess. You could have heard the ice melt in the coolers. Plastic forks froze halfway to mouths. But that was only the opening act. You know that moment when the air gets thick and you can feel the storm rolling in? That's what happened next." My uncle's eyes narrowed. Mom's smile flickered. Brenda's jaw clenched. 30 years of quiet resentment started bubbling up like lava. Brenda broke the silence with 5 words that detonated everything. "You didn't earn a single dime." It was so absurd, so completely detached from reality, my brain blue-screened for a second. Her voice cut through the patio like a blade. Face flushed, she stepped forward. "You've always just leeched off this family like a parasite." Mom let out a nervous laugh that died in her throat. But Brenda wasn't done, she had a decade of entitlement ready to unload. "You think you're hot stuff now because you bought a couple houses? Please. You'd be nothing without us." I actually laughed, sharper than I meant to. "Without you? You mean like the time you got a $25,000 graduation cruise and I got a $60 gift card? Or when you got full-ride college and I was told to figure it out?" Dad's face tightened. "That's not fair, son. You said you didn't want college. Because you flat out told me you couldn't afford to help me. But when Brenda needed a new laptop? Done. Car died? Here's a brand new one. I walked to work in blizzards for 8 months and nobody once offered me a ride." Brenda rolled her eyes. "You could have asked." I stared at her. Why would I ask? So I could hear again that I don't matter? Something inside me finally cracked open. All the swallowed pride, the forced smiles, the birthdays where my gift was clearly an afterthought, it all poured out. "You've had everything handed to you, Brenda," I said, steadier than I felt. "And instead of being grateful, you strut around like you earned it. Truth is, you've never had to fight for a single thing in your life." Her eyes went wide. "Oh, so now I'm the bad guy?" "No," I said. "I just stopped pretending the game was fair." That's when Mom stepped in, arms crossed, lips thin. "Jake, this isn't the time or place." "Of course. Because God forbid Brenda's perfect image gets smudged. You're seriously defending her right now?" I asked. Mom didn't even blink. "You're causing a scene at a family event." Whatever your problem is, we can discuss it privately. And just like that, the mask slipped. No miscommunication. No misunderstanding. In her eyes, I was the problem. Not the favoritism. Not the neglect. Me. Dad chimed in, voice low. We're all proud of what you've accomplished, son. No need to throw it in everyone's face. I hadn't mentioned a single dollar amount. Hadn't flashed a watch, a car, a bank app, nothing. Someone else brought it up. And somehow I was still the villain. Brenda stood there, arms folded, smug, basking in the rescue. That's when it hit me, this dynamic wasn't new. I just finally had enough leverage to see it clearly. You know what? I said, voice shaking less than I expected. You're right. This isn't the place. Because I'm realizing I don't have a place here at all. I walked down to the dock, stared at the water, heart hammering, not from anger, but from grief. The little boy who just wanted to be seen finally died that day. I stood there a long time, letting the wind numb my face. Then footsteps. Of course, Brenda. Don't leave mad, she said, fake sweet. You wanted attention, right? You got it. I didn't turn around. I didn't want attention. I wanted respect. She laughed. You think a few buildings makes you better than me? No, I said, finally facing her. But I earned every brick while you were handed the world on a silver platter. You're still the same insecure loser you've always been. And you're still the same spoiled brat who throws tantrums when the spotlight moves an inch. Her jaw locked. Then she went for the kill shot. At least Mom and Dad love me. I didn't even flinch. Yeah. You can keep them. I started walking back up the lawn to grab my keys. I was done. Then a voice cut through everything. My Uncle Robert, quiet, observant Uncle Robert who never picked sides, spoke from beside the grill, loud enough for everyone to hear. Actually, Jake earned every damn penny he has. And maybe if any of you had ever paid attention, you'd know why. The patio went tomb silent. Uncle Robert stepped forward, wiping his hands on a dish towel. You all act like he tripped and fell into money. I watched that kid grind since he was 16. He cleaned my gutters for $20, fixed my crashed servers for free, built my company's first website when we couldn't afford a real one. Saved us thousands. I offered him a job, twice. He turned me down both times because he wanted to build his own thing. He looked straight at my dad. And what did you tell him? Stop wasting time on computers and get a real job. While Brenda got planes, trains, and automobiles. Brenda opened her mouth. That doesn't mean. Uncle Robert cut her off. Who helped him, Brenda? Not you. Not your parents. Not a single person here. Every door he walked through, he built himself. And you all still act like he stole something. He turned to me. You don't owe any of them an explanation, kid. You did it clean. Don't let anyone take that from you. I couldn't speak. Brenda, though, she lost it. Voice cracking, face crimson, she screamed, he's manipulating all of you. He's always been fake, he just wants to make me look bad. Uncle Robert didn't even raise his voice. No, sweetheart. You managed that all on your own. She charged at me, finger jabbing my chest. You think you're better than me? You're nothing. A couple buildings doesn't make you successful, you're just a lucky fluke. I didn't move. Didn't speak. Just looked her dead in the eye. Because what I saw wasn't rage. It was fear. She finally realized I had become everything she pretended to be. And there was nothing she could do about it, and for the first time in her life, no one stepped forward to shield her from the fallout. I didn't drive away from that reunion feeling triumphant. Not even close. I didn't feel proud. I didn't replay Uncle Robert's words in my head with a smug grin. Truth is, I barely remembered them. What stuck were Brenda's last venomous words and the frozen expression on my mother's face, like a photograph that had been overexposed and ruined. I drove for hours that night, windows down, radio off, no destination. I ended up parked under the buzzing fluorescent lights of a gas station lot 3 towns over, staring at a sign promising hot burritos 2 for $3. I didn't cry. I just felt hollow, like someone had scooped the air out of my lungs and left a cave behind. You grow up believing the myth, work hard, stay quiet, keep grinding, and one day your parents will finally see you. They'll look up from the sidelines, notice the empire you built in the shadows, and whisper, "We were wrong. You did it." That day never came. Instead they saw a threat, an inconvenience, proof they had bet everything on the wrong horse. After the reunion I ghosted the family group chats. Ignored the voicemails. Skipped the birthdays. Most of the messages were from cousins anyway, "You okay, man?" or "You kinda lost it back there." Translation: please come fix this so we don't have to feel uncomfortable anymore. I had spent 30 years being the one who swallowed the bitterness so the holiday wouldn't be ruined. I was done auditioning for that role. For weeks I let the business coast. Inbox overflowed. Clients went unanswered. I barely glanced at the rent check deposit stacking up in the portal. Some days the curtains stayed closed, the phone stayed face down, and I didn't leave the apartment. It wasn't depression exactly. It was bone-deep exhaustion, the kind no amount of sleep touches. One night, doom-scrolling on autopilot, I landed on a photo someone had tagged me in years ago, Brenda, 17, gleaming with her championship medal after a soccer final. I'm standing 10 feet behind her on the sideline, holding her water bottle, staring at the ground like a stranger. That's when it clicked. I had spent my entire life on the edge of my own family portrait, quietly hoping someone would wave me into the frame. They never did. Maybe it was time to stop waiting for the invitation. The next morning I opened the blinds, cooked actual eggs, shaved, and dug my laptop out from under a mountain of unopened mail. I attacked the backlog like flipping a breaker that had been tripped for weeks. Client calls, property walkthroughs, work orders, tenant issues, ad campaigns, one task at a time. The fog lifted. Then something unexpected happened. An email landed from the host of a real estate podcast I'd appeared on 8 months earlier. The clip Emma had shown at the reunion had exploded. Someone turned it into a TikTok with the caption, "Millionaire investor destroyed by jealous family," and it crossed 2 million views. The host wanted a follow-up episode. I almost said no. More spotlight was the last thing I needed. Then I realized this wasn't about fame. It was about who got to write the ending of my story. A week later the episode dropped. No trash talk, no dirt on my family. I just told the truth, what it feels like to be the overlooked kid, to build something alone, to finally understand your worth when nobody else bothers to look. Then the messages started pouring in, first dozens, then hundreds. Not fans. Fellow invisible kids. One guy wrote, "I took 2 buses to my night job while my little brother got a Mustang at 16. Just opened my 3rd barbershop because of you." A woman said, "My parents never once said they were proud. I thought I was broken." A 24-year-old named Jaden sent the one that wrecked me, "You helped me stop waiting for their applause." Something cracked open inside my chest. I wasn't alone. I never had been. I started a YouTube channel, quiet, no hype, just straightforward videos on house hacking, credit repair, finding off-market deals. I closed on 2 more apartment buildings and partnered on a small storage facility with a subscriber I met through the podcast. I wasn't chasing viral. I just showed up consistently, and consistency has a way of being discovered. Then, out of nowhere, Brenda slid into my DMs. No hello, just, funny how you got famous off a family meltdown. I stared at the message for a full minute. First contact since the reunion. I typed back, telling the truth isn't fame. She left me on read. Silence, I've learned, is rarely peaceful. It's usually a warning. It started a few weeks later. Mom left a voicemail, voice trembling with practiced guilt. Jake, can we talk? Your sister's having a hard time. She didn't mean any of it. I didn't call back. Dad fired off a stiff email. Your mother is worried. Don't let a silly argument tear the family apart. Deleted. Then a real estate contact I'd done deals with rang me. Someone pretending to be me had reached out to his title company asking for bank routing numbers and closing statements. They caught it fast, but the message was clear: someone was trying to sabotage me. Only 2 people on earth knew enough personal details to even attempt it. One of them was Brenda. Jealousy had graduated. This was about control. She had always assumed she'd remain the family's North Star and I'd stay the quiet background character forever. Now the spotlight had swung, and she couldn't stand the glare. I locked everything down: credit freeze, new passwords, 2-factor on every account, lawyer buddy drafting cease and desist templates. I wasn't scared. I was preparing for the next phase, moving from surviving to protecting what I'd built. And the universe handed me the perfect stage. A thick navy blue envelope showed up in my mailbox, heavy cardstock, gold foil script trying way too hard to look classy. Inside, an invitation to my parents' 40th wedding anniversary gala. Formal wording, as if it were a state dinner instead of another performance. My name was on it. They actually needed me there. That was new. No one had apologized. No late-night confessions. No olive branches. Just sudden, urgent. Going? Yep. Good. Heads up, they're doing a family history slideshow. Brenda's been helping Dad curate it. I exhaled slowly. Let me guess, I barely exist. You're in 2 baby photos and 1 slide that says, Jake, pursuing tech interests. I laughed out loud. Multi-million-dollar portfolio reduced to tech interests. Perfect. Party day arrived gray and drizzly, like the sky couldn't decide whose side it was on. The country club ballroom smelled of cheap Chardonnay and desperation. White tablecloths, rented chandeliers, dollar store centerpieces trying to look elegant. I walked in 20 minutes late. Brenda spotted me first. Her jaw twitched so hard I thought she'd crack a molar. Mom's smile froze mid-conversation. Dad pretended he didn't see me. Emma waved me over, handed me a mimosa. Showtime in 10. Legacy video incoming. You previewed it? Oh yeah. It's basically the Brenda highlight reel on loop. Soccer goals, graduation, Europe pics, internship red carpet clips. You get 1 slide. Tech interests. Tech interests. The lights dimmed. Everyone took their seats. The projector flickered to life, soft piano music, slow-motion footage of my parents' wedding, baby pictures, beach vacations, Brenda's entire athletic career in cinematic glory. My name appeared exactly once. A single slide, white text on navy background. Jake, pursuing various tech projects. The room chuckled politely, like it was a cute inside joke. That was the moment I stopped being polite. I stood up. Not loud. Not angry. Just calm. Actually, I said, voice carrying easily in the sudden hush, I'd like to add a quick update to that slide if nobody minds. Every head turned. Brenda went pale. Mom gripped Dad's arm. I pulled the remote from my pocket, I'd sweet-talked the AV guy 5 minutes earlier, and clicked to the thumb drive already loaded. The screen lit up with the first photo, my very first duplex the day I closed, me holding the keys, age 26, grinning like an idiot. I clicked again. Property 2. 3. 4. Timelines, purchase prices, refinance savings, current values. Click. Tenant testimonials. Click. The new commercial building, street view, everyone in town recognized it instantly. Gasps rippled through the room. Someone whispered, "Holy crap, that's the old Murphy's Corner." I kept my voice level. Turns out, tech projects bought 9 income properties, a commercial building, and cash flows 6 figures a year, without a single dime from anyone in this room. Dead silence. You could hear the ice melting. Brenda shot to her feet. "This is Mom and Dad's night. You're ruining." I clicked to the final slide before she could finish. A simple black screen with white text. Every brick earned. Every door I built myself. Thank you, Uncle Robert, for seeing it when no one else did. I turned to the room. I'm not here to fight. I'm just done letting other people write my chapter with one vague sentence. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad. I love you. But I'm not invisible anymore. I set the remote on the table, walked out while the screen still glowed behind me, and didn't look back. Outside, the rain had stopped. The air smelled clean. My phone buzzed. "Emma, you just detonated a nuke. Brenda is screaming at the AV guy." Legendary. I smiled, started the car, and drove home. That night I changed my last name on every legal document to the one Uncle Robert had offered years ago when I fixed his servers for free. The invisible kid officially stepped into the light. And for the first time in 30 years, the story was mine to tell.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a twist. Stay tuned to Reddit Tales Times for your daily dose of drama, laughs, and unbelievable stories.